Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's discuss the QA automation testing interview questions asked from Adobe. Adobe is a product-based company. So let's discuss the interview question. The skill stack required of Selenium, REST Assured, BDD, framework level knowledge, automation testing knowledge, and testing concepts. Okay, and the candidate has been selected in the interview. And the interview questions are for the experience range varying from 3 to 6 plus years of experience. Let's directly jump into the interview question. Okay, so these are the Selenium or with respect to the UI automation and framework level interview question. They have asked some questions like, can you explain your automation framework from very scratch? Guys, you need to describe the step-by-step folder structure and explain. So that's the first interview question. And how would you test a PDF upload or download feature? Okay, so be thorough with this answer. And then how will you validate file rendering consistency? And how are you going to perform test browser document rendering? And what is the difference between page object model and page factory, and which is beneficial, and why do we use this? Okay, and then how do you handle dynamic elements and flaky tests, and how do you run tests in parallel in Selenium? And can you explain the synchronization? What is the difference between implicit wait, explicit wait, and fluent wait? Guys, they may also ask you to write the syntax for all this. Be thorough with that. And how do you reduce execution time in existing the, I mean, how do you reduce the execution time in the existing large test suites? When you join to the project and if you observe the test suite is very large, how are you going to reduce the execution time for all the test suites? So that's one of the question. And how are you going to manage the test data in the framework? How do you handle the reporting? Like you can mention something like Allure or extend report, and they may ask further questions on that. And how do you design reusable utilities? Okay, and they may also ask you to explain the different types of reusable utilities that are common across all the frameworks. And how are you going to integrate the Selenium with CI/CD tools or any automation with DevOps pipeline? Okay, if you have worked with Azure DevOps or any other, so you can specifically call out. And yeah, it depends upon the tools that we use in the respective projects like Jenkins or whatever it is. Okay, the next set of questions were based on API automation. They asked something like, how do you automate REST APIs using REST Assured, and you can like API automation. So they were having openings across multiple roles. Either it can be a REST Assured or Playwright or whatever it is. So you can demonstrate how you are going to automate the REST APIs, whichever the libraries you are comfortable with. So that's the question. And how do you validate complex JSON responses? And they may ask you to give the example, or else they may ask you to write some complex JSON by giving some JSON data. And then what is the contract testing in API testing? Have you used it? And how do you handle authentications? Okay, and how do you do data-driven API testing? Okay, so these are the 5 set of interview questions they asked in API automation. Let's move on to the next set of interview questions. The next set, they have asked based on, they have asked on the coding round. So, uh, what I mean is, like they gave this tips code in the, they asked us to write the code in the comfortable language and time and complexity explanation. We need to explain the time and complexity, why we are doing that and why we are using that. Okay, and then they asked us to write the clean and testable code. Okay, these are the uh, pre-tips they have given. So, and they are the programs they have asked to solve. Find the most repeated element, okay, using hash map, and then sort the given array and find the maximum and minimum element in the array of elements. Okay, and then the palindrome check this is a straightforward, and then reverse an array. This is also a straightforward question. Okay, for palindrome check, you can take your name only as an example and you can demonstrate it. Okay, so these are the interview questions. Guys, for answers for all these interview questions, and for the ultimate QA end-to-end interview questions along with answer for a complete job preparation. I have prepared step-by-step notes and documents and study materials company-wise and also study-wise, and I've added scenario-based questions, AI-driven questions. Almost I've tried to cover everything. Please do check out. If you have any questions, please do raise in the comment box or else drop an email. Thank you so much for watching my video. All the best.